Innovations presents the Midwest's #1 independent computer repair company with service centers in Lincoln, Omaha, Papillion, Des Moines, and across the country via the Schrock desk. This is Compute This.
Good morning, folks, and welcome into Compute This. My name is Thor Schrock. I'm the owner of the Schrock Innovations Computer Company. Real busy times over in the service centers right now. The number to join us on the program today, if you'd like to be a part of the show, if you ask a question, make a comment, you'll get in the drawing for the $25 Schrock Innovations gift certificate that we give away at the end of the program. That number is 888-250-2091, 888-250-2091. All right, so I mentioned it's been really busy over at Schrock Innovations. We have like the perfect storm of stuff happening right now. First of all, we have a lot of new people. I don't know what switch the Fed flipped or what happened that all of a sudden we have applicants for positions, but now we have a lot of applicants for positions. And so we've hired people. Now we're like, are we hoarding people? Like, do we have too many people? So we have a lot of new trainees that are coming in that are learning the ways of the Padawan, you know, kind of figuring out exactly how to do Schrock. And so we have some training time set aside there. Then the Ultimate Upgrade sale is going on right now. We'll talk about that here in just a moment, but that has been incredibly busy. So especially that's hitting the Papillion Service Center especially hard because that's where all of our computers are constructed, they're built. And so the demand has just been off the charts year over year for the Ultimate Upgrade, just unbelievable. So we were working our tails off trying to build those computers. In the meantime, all the service centers are getting an abnormally large amount of repair work, and a lot of this is because we've had competitors recently close their doors near each of our 4 service centers or back away from consumers, putting it politely. We don't want consumer business anymore. We just want the businesses to come and do business with us. And you have to have a blend of that in your operation. But at Schrock, serving consumers is kind of our wheelhouse. It's what we were built to do. Everything else that we do is a modification of what we were originally built to do. So when we talk about corporate service agreements, well, that's how we service businesses, but the roots of that go back to how we service customers, and how it's weird because we started out by treating consumers and regular customers as the equals to a business client. In other words, you should get the same level of protection in your antivirus. You should get the same level of service. And now all of a sudden we're saying, okay, now we have to make that even more special for businesses. So what's even more special than what businesses normally get that we're giving to customers, which is super special to them? So it's a challenging thing to do, never, without any doubt. But a lot of our competitors are backing away from the consumer and saying it's just too expensive to service people. Their expectations are too high for what they're paying. As a result, maybe we should just not take those customers. So they're finding homes in our Schrock Innovation Service Centers. We've got, like the big voice man said, the original Schrock Innovations in Lincoln, just south of 15th and Pine Lake Road. We have the next one we opened was in Omaha, 168th and Burke. They're across the street from Village Point, where the rent is slightly cheaper. Slightly. It's getting worse. I don't know what the mall rent I hear is going down, but my rent goes up. I don't understand. It's like if you stay there long enough, they eventually charge you like your left leg. And you don't want to move because, we saw what happened when we moved the Lincoln Service Center. That's why we moved Lincoln, by the way. Our rent, we had a 10-year lease on the space we were in at 27th and Pine Lake Road. And in the 10 years that we were there, when we opened, it was all cornfields south of us. And then 10 years later, it's all developed, and the rent was going to quadruple. And we're like, this is not ideal. We're a computer repair place. We're not selling, jewelry. We're not, selling Rolexes and things like that. So we got to move someplace where the rent is reasonable at least, and that was 15th and Pine Lake Road. When we moved the service center, I actually 3 weeks ago had an interaction with a person that said, I think what Schrock does is fantastic, and I wish you just had a presence in Lincoln. And my jaw hit the floor because we started in Lincoln. So we said we need to really step up our marketing in Lincoln, because when we moved our service center, something went wrong. So we started looking into it. Turns out Apple Maps, and you can check this on your Apple device if you go Schrock Innovations Lincoln in Apple Maps, said we were permanently closed. Now, Google said we were fine, but just Apple Maps said we were permanently closed. So, we had a bunch of people, submit corrections, and then, we claimed the business already. We had the correct hours listed. I don't know why Apple said it was closed. So we were closed in Lincoln, so maybe that was part of it. So we sent some postcards, too, to our Lincoln customers. So for those of you in Lincoln, you probably got a nice postcard from us talking about the ultimate upgrade. It's just a proof of life card, really. Like, we're still here. We're still alive. So that's fun stuff there. So, guys, we had a really fun show last week on the program. If you missed the show, you can pick it up over at SchrockInnovations.com. Just click on radio shows. We talked about some of the products and services at Schrock. One of the things that struck me is as other companies are backing away from you, what are the things that we do at Schrock still to meet your needs, to serve you? And the more I thought about that when I was getting ready for that show, the more it boiled down to the people that we have. When I get emails from you guys about interactions in the service center, they're saying, hey, I want to give a shout out to this person or a shout out to that person. I don't think you understand that that's not normal in our industry. Nobody emails their computer repair guy and says, hey, I just wanted to let you know that so-and-so gave me great service. I mean, that's something you do with a really good waiter at a restaurant. That's something that you would do. I mean, when is the last time that you got really good service somewhere that you thought, dang, that was good service? Well, I get 2 or 3 emails a week from rando customers just saying, hey, I just wanted to make sure that that Austin or Brendan or Chris or Parker, just a shout out for them because they took care of me, that kind of thing. So it's pretty spectacular when that happens. So we spent some time talking a little bit about our people on the program last week. Also, coming up on the program today, I've got some interesting stuff for you. We're going to do some different things today. Number one, I want to talk a little bit about the ultimate upgrade. I've got some supply-demand stuff I'm going to bring you here, and either it's going to make things way, way worse, or it'll get you in before we run out, basically. Number two, you've heard about ChatGPT, but have you heard of AutoGPT? It's like ChatGPT's big brother. And it can do some pretty amazing, crazy things. I'm going to be playing with this weekend, if that tells you anything. Number 3 here, we got questions on antivirus. Now, obviously, Schrock Innovations recommends Sophos Antivirus. That's all we sell. That's all we will install. Because if we install something else, even one of the freebie ones, there's an expectation we're going to support it. So if we install, Avira or AVG or Bitdefender free on your computer, and you have a problem with those programs, you're going to call us because we installed it, and we don't support those programs, so we don't install those programs. However, we all live in the land of real, and we all understand that there are times when, especially for people on Social Security or fixed incomes, I understand Sophos it's only $70 a year, and now I know for certain from various means of intelligence gathering that what we charge for Sophos is actually the cheapest option among independent providers in Nebraska and Iowa. Like, we are undercharging for it. We could be charging $100 instead of $70, and we would be in line. Not expensive. We would be in line with what other places are charging. So what if you can't afford the $70? What if literally it's just not in the budget? It's not a matter of you really don't think it's important, or it's not a matter of you undervalue security or anything like that. It's literally a financial number, and you do not have the $70 a year to spend on antivirus. Well, then you're going to want to use one of the free options, right? But which one? There are so many of them. None of them are great, but some of them are better than others. So we're going to spend some time on the program today doing something we don't normally do, and we're going to spend time talking about the free options that are out there, so that if you're one of the people that's in that situation where you're struggling to make ends meet, everything is inflationary, and you understand that Sophos is the big dog in the room. It's going to keep you the safest of any, and relative to its competitors in the marketplace, it's actually relatively inexpensive. But $70 a year is still $70 a year. So what if you didn't spend the $70 a year? You still need to have something. What should you have? We're going to talk about that coming up on the show today. Also, I don't know if you've heard about this. It was kind of breaking in the last few days, but there was a little turf war happening between Substack and Twitter. Now, you may not know what a Substack is, but we'll tell you all about it. But basically, there's a little fight brewing there, and I want to make sure that you know what's going on, because there's a lot of really good journalism that happens on Substack. I have several Substack subscriptions myself for different authors that I read. There are different journalists that I read, and it's good stuff. I've got a Twitter account again, for the first time in a long time, @ThorSchrock if you want to follow me. And I don't do a ton with it. I'm basically like an aggregator for you. I grab really interesting stories and post them on Twitter. That's all I do. So if you want to have a news aggregator there, you can follow me there. But you're not going to see what I had for breakfast or anything like that. But there's a big fight going on between these two right now, and literally one of them was banning the other one. It was ridiculous. So we're going to get into the details of what's going on behind the scenes there and what you should be aware of, so you know what information you can get your hands on out there that is accurate, because it's really hard to find accurate information right now in any kind of, large mainstream journalistic enterprise. Even the conservative, quote unquote conservative ones, the news is still curated. There are still things you do not hear about that are pretty spectacular. Things that get us strikes on YouTube during the aftershock, let's put it that way. So things you don't hear about, but you'll read about on Substack, and you'll read about on Twitter. And Twitter and Substack usually work together so that people on Twitter will tweet, check out this article on Substack, and you go to Substack and you might say, hey, this particular journalist has really good content. I want to subscribe to it, and I'll pay the $10 a year or whatever to subsidize the creation of their content so they can keep doing their work, because I appreciate having the information. Well, it's getting a little dicey now, so we're going to talk about that coming up on the program as well. 888-250-2091 is the number to join us on the show. And as I usually mention, but I haven't mentioned just yet, we are broadcasting live right now on Facebook at facebook.com/Schrock Innovations. Facebook.com/Schrock Innovations. You can check us out there and watch the program if that is something that you're interested in. Also, if you miss any of the show and you can't wait until Monday when we post it to SchrockInnovations.com, the video is available at Facebook.com/Schrock Innovations. All right, so I mentioned we had the ultimate upgrade sale going on and supplies are getting a little constricted. This is what I mean. So when we started the sale, we looked at what we did last year, and we said, okay, this is what we did last year. We know we're going to lower the price $100. We're going to go from $5.99 to $4.99. We know that the product this year is going to be better than the product last year. The laptop's going to come with a touchscreen. The desktop is going to have the Ryzen 3 chip and 8 gigs of RAM instead of 4 gigs of RAM and a Celeron. So we know that both products are going to be demonstrably better and less expensive, especially considering inflation, but less expensive nominally year over year by $100 a unit. We're going to sell more. We know this. But the question is how much more? And we may have undershot a little bit. So I went out and I bought 100 computer cases that we allocated toward the ultimate upgrade sale. 100 motherboards, 100 processors, 100 of everything. And in the laptops, the way that we order those is we order them 10 at a time in a batch. It's the smallest number that we can order at one time to achieve the maximum discount for buying in quantity. So you can buy more than 10, but it doesn't get you a bigger discount. So when we go and purchase the laptops, it takes 3 or 4 days for them to come into the service center. Once they're in the service center, then we modify them. You don't get the laptop from ASUS, because you can get that at any store. You can go to the Mart and get that. And there's nothing super special about it. The unibody that ASUS makes is amazing. What they don't do well is they don't put a really good hard drive in it, and the memory that they put in it is slower than we would like to see. So we replace the memory with faster memory. We replace the hard drive with a faster hard drive. Then when you get the computer, all of a sudden, it's like wicked fast. Somebody who buys theirs at the Mart will get a computer that looks the same, but is not the same inside. So we went from being able to order 10. So I'm ordered 10. We started off the sale, we had 20 on hand to start the sale, because I figured that's enough to spread between the service centers, and then as we sell those down, we'll just replace them 10 at a time. Okay, that was the plan. We sold through the first 20 in the first 2 days. Remember I said it takes 3 days or so to get a replenishment shipment? Whoops. Well, surely that was like a punch, right? That was like the initial the push. The first movers moved, and now we're going to dwindle on through the rest of the month as we go through the sale. So I just ordered another 10. Okay, and by day 5 those were gone. So I ordered another 10, and the next day another 10, and the next day yet another 10. What eventually happens is our supplier is out. There are no more 10s to be ordered. So I've got plenty on hand coming to service the customers who have already purchased, who have not received their units. We're about -11 right now, if that tells you how fast they're selling. I've got another 8 on order. over and above that. So normally, when a business says this price while supplies last, that's usually like a marketing thing that you say, like while supplies last. In other words, you better hurry up, we could run out. This is me saying, if you're going to do this, you really better hurry up because we're going to run out. The while supplies last clause, we may actually have to exercise that before the end of the month because we can't get them right now. And so I'm ordering from here and there and one or two at a time here and there. I'm grabbing all the loose outliers that I can to get them coming toward us. And I was able to get another 6 or 8 coming our way over and above what we expected to have. Now, they could come back into stock next week. We just don't know. Our supplier says we don't have a lead on these. We don't have any tracking information. We don't know when we're going to get any more of them. So we'll tell you as soon as we know. Well, great. That just helps us out a lot. So if you were thinking the desktops, we're fine on. The desktops, we can build those all day long. We got plenty of parts for those. It's the laptops that are a concern. So if this is something that you were thinking about doing, I recommend that you get in and do it as quickly as possible. If you haven't heard anything about this before, you have no idea what I'm talking about. The Ultimate Upgrade is a sale that we do once a year at Schrock where you can trade in any old piece of garbage computer to get a discount on a new computer. This year, the computers that we're doing, our Intrepid model is, it's a $800 laptop that you can get for $500 with your trade-in, $499. So you save $300 by trading in any computer. We don't care what the computer is. We don't use any parts out of it. Nothing, it gets recycled. The purpose of your trade is not to seed the build of your new computer or the upgrade it. The purpose of your trade is to remove one computer from the ecosystem, get it recycled properly, and we're doing our part to make sure that we are recycling more than we're producing. Not a super woke guy, not super into all the culture war stuff, but I do understand that we produce things that can harm the ecology. So it is responsible for us to ensure that we are recycling a minimum of what we're producing. We exceed that by far, but this is one of the ways that we do that. This is one of the ways we recycle literally like 3 circus elephants worth of... do circus elephants weigh more than regular elephants? Are they like fat elephants because they're kept? I don't know. Why do they always call it like the weight of a circus elephant? Do they not weigh elephants in the wild? I don't know. It's like the weight of a wild African elephant. Yeah, I don't know. But we recycled 3 circus elephants worth of e-waste last year. And so that's what we're trying to do here. Now, the laptop is the Intrepid. The desktop is the Boundless. It is, all in all, a great system that can work good for home use. It can work good for small business use. It's not the middle of the pack. It's not the high end. But then again, it's only $499. It's $200 off with your trade. And we don't care what you trade. You can trade a laptop and get a desktop. You can trade a desktop and get a laptop. Doesn't matter to us. Whichever way you want to go, we don't care. You just have to trade something in. That's what the Ultimate Upgrade is, guys. That's why it's so popular this year. It's actually $100 less than it was last year, and the specifications went up. That's not supposed to happen right now. But we're making it happen at Schrock, and that's probably why we're selling out. So if this is something that's of interest to you, you can purchase it on the website at SchrockInnovations.com. Before we even open, you can grab one today. Also, you can go to any of the service centers and place an order. Right now, I believe Des Moines still has some in stock. The other service centers are, I think Papillion might have 1 or 2 in stock. The other service centers are completely out. They're actually negative. So you'll place your order and then pick it up. We'll call you as soon as it's in. Should be in just a few days. 888-250-2091. Going to take a quick break, guys. When we come back, have you heard about AutoGPT? I'm going to tell you about ChatGPT's big brother that can do way more than ChatGPT. This is something you're going to want to hear about coming up next on Compute This.
Schrock Interactive's website developers can make it happen. Refresh your website, automate sales and marketing, and grow your business today with Schrock Interactive. Every person listening to this broadcast has either experienced data loss or knows someone who has.
What's the username for the next gen? Is it just KFAB?
Many more places than you'd like to admit. Have you downloaded those videos?
I know the password is that 7-Ropus thing.
Yeah.
Or even tackle sometimes daunting task of backing up the entire computer's hard drive.
Here, I'll tell you. Just use Roger, O-R-O-G-E-R, and the letter O capital.
In the Midwest, equipped with the latest DVI
For next gen?
imaging devices.
Yeah, and then Roger O1.
And Omaha's best
That's not a
battery
real.
technicians. Schrock Innovations has a 96.8%
No,
success
it's
rate when
Roger
Zero?
damaged
O.
hard drives,
No,
flash
the
drives,
letter O.
cards, and
Yeah,
more.
capital O, you said.
Right, and then the same thing with the number one, Roger O, and the number one.
Gotcha.
I'm not very, we're not too concerned about that.
Yeah.
Did that open it for you?
Yes, it did. Thank you.
Very good. Yeah, I usually use pretty strong passwords, or
Oh,
at least
man.
that's what they tell me. I try
Well,
to.
the microphone, we're on. I don't know what the heck is going on, but I didn't plug it in. We're still in Aftershock mode, so we're getting live studio feed. They're like, Thor, you're telling us your passwords. Yeah, so now you guys
Okay.
know how you can log into the caller system.
You get into the next gen.
Yeah, the world will end.
That's right. Compute this. What's your first name?
Great, now we're going to have callers.
And which phone?
I don't think I can. If I change this in the midstream here, we risk blowing up the stream. Let's see what happens. If I lose you all, this is what happened. All right.
Time. This pro tip brought to you by Schrock Innovations Computer Company.
Alrighty, guys, welcome back in. Having experimental time on Compute This during the commercial breaks there. We had the wrong microphone on, so you got a quick insight into what's going on in the KFAB studios during the commercial breaks, including all the passwords and everything. You know, it's fine. Yeah, we might want to have Gary change those. All right, welcome back into the program, guys. 888-250-2091. Now, have you heard about AutoGPT? We're going to tell you what this is here in just a moment, but AutoGPT, it from everything I've read, has the power to be the most powerful artificial intelligence tool that you could use to actually get real things done. So we're going to talk about that in just a second. But first, Kathy, welcome to the program. How can I help you today on Compute This?
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, I got one of your new desktops because my other went kaput,
Okay.
and I wanted to tell you how great Austin and Parker were in helping me find where everything was at.
Can you turn your radio down real quick? There we go.
Let me move away from the...
No problem.
Okay. Yeah, I just wanted to let you know that Austin and Parker were absolutely fantastic in helping me figure out Windows 11.
Awesome.
You don't want to lose those guys.
Oh, no. Kathy, thank you so much for your call. You know, I have to tell you, yeah, we have two Austins. I know which one you're talking about because you put it in context with Parker. But, the guys that we have working for us, when we have a problem at Schrock, let's put it this way. When we have a problem at Schrock with employees, it's like it would be the stupidest problem at any other company. Like the stupidest, smallest, most inconsequential thing. Like he ate the apple out of the refrigerator and that was my apple. I mean, that's the kind of problems we have with employees, And it's like, okay, let's have a meeting about the apple, sit everybody down because we're all on the same team. And at the end of the day, as soon as you say that to everybody, we're all on the same team, everybody realizes and remembers, we're all here to do the same thing. And we're all here to make sure that your computers and your technology do what you need it to do. So thank you for the call, Kathy. I appreciate you joining us here on the program today. That puts Kathy in the drawing for the $25 Schrock Innovations gift certificate, by the way. 888-250-2091 is the number to join us on the program. So AutoGPT, what is it? AutoGPT is kind of like ChatGPT's big brother. So somebody, a coder, wrote what's called a Python script, or he wrote a program that you can download and then run on your computer. And what it does is it takes, ChatGPT, if you've tried it, does some pretty crazy stuff, but you have to tell it what to do. So you could say, write a monologue. The lovely Kimberly was working on some marketing materials for Schrock the other day, and she goes, I just thought, just for fun, I would try ChatGPT and see what it came up with. And some of it was ridiculous because she told it to talk in the style of Thor Schrock, and it was like super bellicose and over the top. And I'm like, do I sound like that? And I'm like, oh, that's not good. So you have to tell ChatGPT to write me a 30-second commercial about Sophos antivirus in the style of Thor Schrock on Compute This. Go. And it'll write like a script basically for you. Now, that script then would have to be, edited and modified. And, then you'd have to maybe do some other things with that script, in order to convert it into a commercial. That's where AutoGPT comes in. So let's say AutoGPT knows that there's usually music in a commercial, like a music bed of some sort underneath the voice that's talking. So AutoGPT will know. The best way I can describe this is it actually does the full task as opposed to the small task. So with ChatGPT, you have to give it small tasks. You have to say, go find me a song, or write the text, or you have to give it each step of the process to get a finished product. AutoGPT figures out what the finished product is supposed to be, then breaks down the key component steps required to get to the finished product, then automatically executes each of the key component steps and assembles the final product. So this is a much, much more advanced tool to complete automated tasks in an enterprise. Why is this important? I read an article last week that something like 80% of tech workers are using ChatGPT in their daily jobs right now. Excuse me, I said that wrong. A large percentage of tech workers are using ChatGPT in their jobs now to do 80% of their daily tasks. And their bosses have no idea. They're bragging about it. Oh, the boss has no idea that ChatGPT does 80% of my work for me. Well, your bosses know a little more than you think. I'm going to tell you that, because if you've read anything that ChatGPT has written, you can tell when it's ChatGPT. Number two, I don't doubt that there's 80% of automation happening, especially like tools like AutoGPT out there that can do some pretty crazy things. What's going to happen right now, people are like, haha, this is funny. But what's going to happen is eventually when managers figure out that you can do 80% of a person's work with AutoGPT, well, they're not going to fire the people, just like Schrock. The people are what makes the company. Other businesses are like that too. And a lot of people are really fearful that their jobs are going to be taken by automation or taken by ChatGPT or AutoGPT, or they'll be rendered obsolete. The challenge that you have, though, is the stuff that these AIs are kicking out is not ready for prime time. Just like that commercial or that thing that the lovely Kimberly had it right for Schrock. It didn't. She found 2 sentences in there that she said, that's a good sentence, I'm going to use that. But it stopped her from having to think of those sentences, right? So it did some of her work for her, but certainly not all of it. So what I'm choosing to see here with AutoGPT and ChatGPT are tools that are going to make individual employees more productive. And that's something that is really, really good for our economy. That is something that's good for the nation as a whole. Productivity is the essence of profitability. Without productivity, businesses have nothing. And so anything that increases the productivity of an individual employee to make them more valuable, that's a win. And so I'm choosing to look at this as a positive, but if you're going to hear more about AutoGPT going forward in the future, just know that it's different from ChatGPT. It's a much more comprehensive solution. 888-250-2091. Going to take our bottom of the hour break here, guys. But when we come back, some of you guys know, if you said, Thor, what antivirus should I be running? I would tell you Sophos. I would say it doesn't matter. Skip your coffee for this month so you can buy Sophos. Whatever you have to do, get Sophos, because it's the only thing that's going to actually keep your computer safe. Okay? But what if you literally have already cut the coffee out of the budget and you cannot afford Sophos? You can't afford the $70 a year. And you have to run one of the free versions that are out there. What are the shortcomings of each of the most popular free antivirus programs? What should you be on the lookout for, and which one should you choose? We're going to tell you about the free antivirus solutions that you can get on your computer coming up next on Compute This.
Drive Advisor is a free program from Schrock Innovations that monitors your hard drive's health and tells you if it's going bad. Download it for free at driveadvisor.com.
Remember the good old days when virus detection worked like Where's Waldo? Spot the virus in the striped shirt and you win. Today's infections are changing hourly to avoid detection and use social engineering to trick you into making mistakes. Using yesterday's security to defend against today's threats is like using leeches to stop an infection. It just doesn't work. We recommend Sophos Intercept X, antivirus backed by Schrock's virus-free guarantee. Sophos uses the power of AI to detect the patterns of a virus attack and responds with Schrock's custom actions that stop it fast. With Sophos on your PC, Mac, Android, or iOS device, you get the state-of-the-art protection you need to defend against the most advanced attacks out there. In fact, if your device gets a virus while running Sophos antivirus, Schrock will remove it for free, guaranteed. It hasn't happened yet, and we intend to keep it that way. Ditch your dad's antivirus and keep your device, data, and identities safe with Sophos and Schrock Innovations.
Compute This Pro Tip 178. Those little life-saving surge protector strips are vital to your computer's health and should be used whenever possible, even for laptops. As computers get smaller and more powerful, they're also becoming more sensitive to dirty power, and your power is a lot dirtier than you might think. Even if you have a whole home surge protection, most power surges are generated within your own home. If you've ever vacuumed and seen the lights get dimmer and brighter, you created a surge. Surge protectors can only absorb so much energy measured in joules. When that capacity is exhausted, your surge protector becomes a glorified extension cord and needs to be replaced. You should always look for surge protectors that give audible alerts when they're no longer able to protect your equipment. Schrock recommends these because the lights on most strips are just power lights and they don't tell you when it's time to replace the unit. If in doubt, replace your surge protectors annually to keep your expensive TVs, computers, and other electronic equipment safe. This pro tip is brought to you by Schrock Innovations Computer Company.
Fox News, I'm Karen McHugh. There's been another mass shooting, this one in Alabama, Saturday night.
We can confirm that there has been a mass shooting in Dadeville, Alabama. This is eastern Alabama in Tallapoosa County. Reportedly, according to WRBL and the CBS affiliate there, this shooting took place at about 10:30 last night. They're talking about, according to them, WRBL is reporting some 20 people who were injured at this shooting.
Fox's Brian Yennis, there are reports of multiple fatalities. Another mass shooting in Louisville, Kentucky. 2 dead, at least 4 others wounded late last night. It happened outdoors in a crowded park. There were no witnesses. Police are pleading with the suspect.
The best case scenario is for you to turn yourself in and stop this.
Lieutenant Paul Humphrey of the Louisville PD. America is listening to Fox News.
Now, the News Radio 1110 KFAB Weather Watch.
A wind advisory is in effect until 7 o'clock this evening. Northwest winds could gust as high as 45 miles per hour this afternoon with a high around 56. Clear and 35 overnight tonight. Monday, sunny with a high near 65. And Tuesday, mostly sunny. We'll have a high near 74. There's your forecast. I'm Roger Olson.
Alrighty, guys, welcome back into Compute This. My name is Thor Schrock. I'm the owner of the Schrock Innovations Computer Company. We're live streaming on Facebook.com/Schrock Innovations. You know, for the first time ever, I thought, let's try this cross-post thing. So I cross-posted it to the KFAB page as well. And the interesting thing is you think it would give me one feed of comments, but no, now I have to watch 2. The comment feeds are completely unique on each stream. So that's something that's kind of a weird, why would you do it that way? I don't know, cross-post? I don't know. So anyway, it's interesting stuff, but you can pick us up, Facebook.com/Schrock Innovations. That's where I'm bouncing comments around here as well. 888-250-2091 is the number to join us on the program. As we mentioned at the start of the show, the Ultimate Upgrade Sale is underway still at Schrock Innovations. It is good through the end of the month or while supplies last. Now, like I said before, the while supplies last thing is usually like a marketing thing that you do, like to create a sense of urgency. Well, the sense of urgency is I can't order any more laptops right now. Now, that could change on Tuesday or whatever, but I haven't been able to order laptops since Thursday. So like literally the distributor is just out of them. You bought them all. So it's been a little busy. So, basically, while supplies last could mean we have to change the model to the non-touchscreen version because the touchscreen models are the ones that we're running out of. So we might have to change the product a little bit or change the sale to keep it going. So if you want the full boat, if you want the full product, I would recommend you move quickly on the laptop if that's something that you're going to be doing over at Schrock Innovations. You can purchase the ultimate upgrade on our website at SchrockInnovations.com. You just bring your trade in when you come pick it up. No big deal. You can get it at SchrockInnovations.com, laptop or desktop. Also, all the service centers, we're open Monday through Saturday from 10 in the morning until 8 in the evening, and Sunday from noon to 5. Des Moines' hours are a little different. They're not open on Sundays, and they close at 6 o'clock. So you can stop into the service centers and purchase, or you can come on in to SchrockInnovations.com and get it there for you as well. 888-250-2091 is the number to join us on the program today. Ask a question, make a comment. We'll put you in the drawing for a $25 Schrock Innovations gift certificate. Good for anything your heart desires there at Schrock Innovations. So let's say everybody knows, and I remember when we started this program like 20-something years ago, we'd say there's viruses out there, guys, and you need to have antivirus. And we would have people who call the program and say, it was like the conspiracy theories of the time. The virus companies make the viruses so that they can have a product that keeps us safe from them. It's like, it was like COVID before COVID was COVID. The same conspiracy theories. They're still not true. Nobody made the viruses so that you have antivirus software. It's the other way around. There are people on the internet who are incredibly skilled. There are people around technology that are incredibly talented individuals. And there is a market for their talent for doing nefarious things. And one of the things that's true about technology, that will always be true about technology, is every iteration of technology becomes safer and more secure, requiring the bad guys to elevate their game. So what ends up happening is you have really, really, really sophisticated bad guys that are attacking the systems that are getting increasingly sophisticated, but not at the same rate. So your government systems, your university systems, your Fortune 500 company systems, they're moving the fastest. They're the hardest to attack. Your small businesses, your individual people at home, your micro businesses, people selling stuff on Etsy, those are the people that are getting attacked because they're the easiest targets because they use their equipment longer. They don't upgrade it as frequently. They're very cost conscious. So if they're Microsoft Office, for example, if they're running Office 2010 and it works just fine, well, there's a vulnerability there, and if you don't get the patch, you're in trouble. I'm sure. Who's going to attack me? And we get those kind of questions all the time at Schrock. The truth of the matter is, nobody is seeking you out. I hate to tell you this, but you're not special in the eyes of the attackers. They're not seeking you out. They're not making you. They're not trying to find Sally's computer where she's selling doll clothes on Etsy and attack her. This is a programmatic or an automated attack. So their bots are going to go out and they're going to look for any computer that meets the following attack profile that they believe that their attack vector would be successful on. And they're going to attack that computer. And when they do attack that computer, when they compromise it, at that point, a human might look at what's in the computer to determine how valuable it is, to see what kind of a ransom they should assess. Do we have an attorney here? Or do we have Sally's doll clothes maker? We don't know. And sometimes they don't even do that. Sometimes they just encrypt everything and charge everybody the same ransom. It can be completely automated. It can be partially automated. Or you can have that spear phishing thing where maybe you do have something very specific on your computer that, a foreign government or entity or state-sponsored actor would be interested in. Well, then you can get spearphished. They can come specifically for your system, looking for specific vulnerabilities that would give them access. But that doesn't change anything. The approach to securing your equipment is the same. And that starts with good antivirus software. That is the bare minimum to keep you safe, is good antivirus software, not the maximum. So the bare minimum that you should be doing is running Sophos. But we live in the world of reality. and the economy is what it is, and some people literally don't have the $70 a year to throw at this. Now, some people choose not to throw the $70 a year at it because there are free options, quote unquote, free options available, and therefore the free options are free. I'm just going to use those and I'll save my $70. I understand the approach. I understand. I respect the frugality of what you're doing, but you're cutting off your nose to spite your face. If you can afford the $70 a year, you should definitely be in Sophos. As I mentioned before, we were talking to a company about possibly acquiring their consumers. They didn't want their consumers anymore necessarily, and they were exploring options on how to divest themselves of these troublesome consumers. And we welcome the huddled masses. Come on in. And so it didn't work out in the end, but they divulged some of their pricing and things to us. And I can tell you with certainty that we are undercharging for Sophos. Does that mean we're raising the price? No, we're still charging $70, but everybody else in our position for products that are by far inferior to Sophos, they're charging up to $100 or more per year. So our prices are about 30% lower, if that's a consolation, but they're still not free. So what do you do if you need the free stuff? If you're looking for free antivirus software, these are the top 4 that are out there. And each of them have their own strengths and their own weaknesses. None of them have an artificial intelligence component, however. And that's one of the things that Sophos does to stand out. That's one of the ways it keeps you safe, is because it looks for new pieces of software that are doing virusy things. So in other words, if I'm not a doctor, you see, but if I get a fever and I have a headache and maybe my tummy's a little upset, I think I have a virus. I don't really care what the virus is, or I don't need a doctor to tell me exactly what virus I have in me. I just need my body's antivirus mechanism, my immune system, to deal with it. And that's exactly what Sophos does for your computer. When a virus gets into your computer, Sophos may have never seen it before. That's increasingly common. As a result, Sophos defends you from that virus because it's doing virus-like things. It's giving your computer a fever. It's giving it a tummy ache. These are virus-like things that happen. So we deal with the virus. Whatever's causing that to happen, we get rid of it. Now, if it was something you meant to do to yourself, like if you're in one of those like sweat yoga classes and you meant to get really hot, well, then there's nothing your immune system can do about that. We can put an exception there for that. Now, probably the most recognized free antivirus product out there is AVG, also known as Avast. They're the same product now. AVG or Avast, from the perspective of what the programs do, these 2 programs do the most of any of the free programs to keep your computer safe. Unfortunately, they pair that with one of the most pervasive upselling mechanisms in the industry. Every email you send will say scanned by Avast on the bottom. That just automatically gets added to every email you send. When you're using it, things will pop up on the screen asking you to upgrade all the time. So there's interruptions asking you to buy the product, to purchase the paid version, which gives you marginally better protection than the free version, but not substantially better. There are some options that are grayed out that you only get in the paid version. So AVG or Avast, decent protection. For free stuff, it's decent protection, but it also comes at the price of some annoying pop-ups and interruptions and branding in all of your emails. Next up on the list, number 2, if we're going down list by capability, would be Avira. Avira is a newer entry into the list of the most popular free ones. Avira has good, decent protection, not quite as good as what AVG and Avast bring, but all the advanced features are pay. So they don't bother you with the marketing or anything like that, but any advanced features or functionality, they're all pay to play. So you're getting the barest minimum of protection possible that an antivirus product can give you for free, with the knowledge that there's so many more things it could be doing, but it's not until you pay the bill. Now, the next up in our list is Bitdefender Free. There are 2 versions of Bitdefender. There's the paid version and the free version. Bitdefender Free and Bitdefender Paid are pretty much the same. There are some features that are not available in the free version, but they are the fringe features that you're probably not too concerned about. So if you're paying for Bitdefender right now, just know that you can get pretty much the same protection from Bitdefender Free. than what you're paying for. So literally, if you're saying I have Bitdefender instead of Sophos, you basically have, even if you have the paid Bitdefender, it's the same as the free one. It's free antivirus is what it amounts to. And then the last one on the list, number 4, is Malwarebytes. Malwarebytes has come a long way since its days as just a single-use anti-malware scanning program. Now, the problem with Malwarebytes is you do not get any real-time protection in the free version. There's a 14-day trial, and after that you have to subscribe, and it'll keep running in the background. You can keep scanning your computer manually, just like you could with old Malwarebytes. But if you want the real-time protection, which is what you have to be considered an antivirus product, you have to buy it. So Malwarebytes has a good engine, but it only works for 14 days. So it's good for getting yourself uninfected if you are infected, but it's not great for keeping your computer free from infection going forward unless you pay for the product. So those are your top 4, guys, your top 4 antivirus product options that are free out there. Again, I want to be very clear. None of them stack up to the capabilities of what Sophos can do. None of them have an AI component. They're all definition based. They're all old school antivirus, but they're better than a poke in the eye with a sharp stick. So if for whatever reason the $70 a month is too much, or $70 a month, $70 a year, 70 a month would be a little steep. $70 a year for Sophos, if that is too much for your budget, and that I understand there are people in that position right now, then these are the 4 options that you should look to instead. But if you can by hook or crook, if you can get Sophos on your computer, by far it's a better solution. 888-250-2091. We're going to take the final break of our program. When we come back, you guys may or may not know what Substack is. Substack is like a service basically where authors or journalists can publish their work, and then they can give away a portion of each article for free or the whole thing for free. But the objective is that the journalists are paid directly from the people who read their work. So you can literally subsidize. It's almost like Patreon almost. You can subsidize a particular individual. Maybe you like Glenn Greenwald's stuff. Well, you can subsidize him. And then he gets paid from Substack, and it gives him an income that allows him to work without having the editorial control of a large corporation behind him. He doesn't have the New York Times or the Washington Post screening his content and telling him what he can and can't write about. And as a result, you get a more honest journalistic product. So there's some really good stuff you can find on Substack. You can also find garbage there, but there's some really good stuff you can find on Substack. And we all know what Twitter is, and that all the saga of Twitter as Elon has taken it over and opened it up. And he's talked about open sourcing the algorithms actually that tell everybody, how different articles come to the surface on Twitter and how things trend, really letting you in behind the scenes on the secret sauce so that you can have faith in that product as a free speech tool. But for some reason, when you take really good journalism and you pair it up with Elon's free speech tool, they're fighting with each other. So we're going to tell you what the disagreement is about, how it's probably going to get resolved, and if anything, what should you do about it, coming up next on Compute This.
Schrock Innovations Data Recovery Lab saves the data the other guys can't. The next time your hard drive, camera card, or flash drive fails, let Schrock get your data back. External hard drives are handy. You can back up multiple computers to them or even use them to move lots of data from one computer to another. Computer users have been buying the same old external hard drives for years. While our computers have been getting faster, we still do backups that take hours or watch epic progress bars creep by to move files. Schrock wanted more for our customers, so our innovators created the fastest external hard drives on the planet. Schrock modular storage devices are up to 50% faster than Seagate or Western Digital externals and are modular in the truest sense of the word. We can create whatever size and speed of drive you need for all of your needs, and all modular storage devices come with a data restoration guarantee. If you use our drives for backing up and your computer's hard drive fails, we'll restore your backup to your repaired computer for free. Fast, simple, and flexible technology solutions from Schrock Innovations. It's what we do. Compute This pro tip number 753. Have you ever wondered how the bad guys always seem to find a way into your computer? Gone are the good old days of email worms and I love you viruses. Nobody wants to steal your data anymore, or in many cases even your identity. Today's cyber criminals want to sell access to your computer or hold your data for ransom. The bad guys are exploiting zero-day vulnerabilities to break into systems that are supposed to be hack-proof. These vulnerabilities are always newly discovered, and the criminals have a brief time to exploit them before they get patched. Antivirus and firewalls do not prevent these attacks, but you can minimize your computer's exposure by installing all security patches as quickly as possible. The average computer needs 12 patches a week. That's not including the ones that are automatically delivered to your computer. Boost your cybersecurity by staying on top of it manually, or use a patch installation program like Secure Updater to get your computer the patches it needs. This pro tip is brought to you by Schrock Innovations Computer Company.
Alrighty, guys. Thanks for joining us today for Compute This. I really appreciate you being here for the hour. If you missed any of the show, missed the segment on the antivirus products that are freebies that you can get, you can check all those out on SchrockInnovations.com. Just click on radio show. You can listen to the audio there. We usually have it up by Monday for you. Also, you can review the video. Facebook.com/Schrock Innovations. 402. Oh, well, you could call that number, I guess. That one does work. But let's leave the 800 number just to keep it same for everybody in all the cities. 888-250-2091 is the number to join us on the show. There's still time to join us. My next-gen system logged me out again. I know they changed the logout time. It keeps logging me out. But anyway, I won't say the password live on the air again, so that'll be a win, because I think Gary just changed it or something, and I don't want to give it away again. You're going to have to put me on the You've Been Pawned website. Oh, my goodness. 888-250-2091. If you miss a part of the show, guys, you miss a lot. There's a lot that's happened in this hour. Stay tuned after the conclusion of the program as well at Facebook.com/Schrock Innovations. We will have the After Schrock as well. That is not simulcast on any other pages. That is a Schrock exclusive at Facebook.com/Schrock Innovations. All righty. So, Twitter versus Substack. We have fights about everything now. Somebody was pointing out there was what was the movie that I watched? Oh, I went and saw the movie called Air, I think. It's the story of the Air Jordan sneaker. And, it was one of those movies where my wife and I were like, we want to go see a movie, and this is really the only new movie that's out, so I guess we're going to see it. And it was like, okay, maybe it'll be good. It was fantastic. It was a classic winner take all, believe in yourself, believe in your product, fight against all the obstacles that come into your path. Do not quit, do not give up, and you might get to make something fantastic. I mean, it was that story, and it was loaded with 80s culture, like everything from the late 80s, early 90s, all the music, the movies, and they were doing a montage at the start of the movie of all the different, there's Mr. T doing his thing, and the Rocky movies were out, and I remember that time in my life. I remember the early 90s, and the amount of culture, the amount of things that all Americans, maybe we didn't agree on it, but we all knew about it. We all knew who Mr. T was. We all knew all the things. The culture was the culture. You may not have liked it, but it was the culture. We're so fragmented now, and we can fight about everything. We can fight about what beer we're going to drink. Literally, there's fights about every possible thing that you can think of. But why do we have to fight about free speech? What could possibly be the argument? Why would Twitter have a problem with Substack? Okay, so Substack is a place where authors can go and they can write their content and they can get paid. Now, unfortunately, Substack is still trying to raise venture capital, and as we covered in a previous show, they're unable to do so because of the bank tightening right now. So they're actually asking their authors to chip in and buy stock in Substack. So now a lot of the authors who are really popular on Substack actually are part owners in the platform. So these journalists who are also part owners in the platform, they attract people to their stories by posting about them on Twitter. And so people on Twitter can share it. They click the link, it goes off to Substack, and then you can read a free portion of the article. If you like what you read, you subscribe. It's like $10 for a year or something stupid. And then all of a sudden you can read all their articles that they publish all the time. You install the Substack reader on your phone. That way you can keep up on everything, and it works out really well. The problem that Twitter had is that Substack has released a new product called Substack Notes. Now, Substack Notes is not a Twitter clone, but it is similar to Twitter. It allows people to have a discussion about an article, for example, and comment back and forth and interact with each other directly on the Substack platform. That is something that would be happening previously on the Twitter platform. Elon obviously was a little concerned that Substack Notes, because Substack has a reputation for being one of the last oases of journalistic integrity on the planet, might be a problem for Twitter. And so as a result, all of a sudden, once they released their Notes product, any links that were going from Twitter to Substack were blocked. Well, that was quickly changed. And then it was just, they were warnings that these links might be spammy. Remember when they did this to the Hunter Biden story? When the Hunter Biden laptop story came out and you were trying to go to the Washington Post from Twitter to read the story, and it would say, this link is spammy. This could be a dangerous link. You sure you want to go there? There was nothing spammy or dangerous about the New York Post. I mean, it was literally a political thing. Well, Elon did the exact same thing to Substack, where you're going to Substack, it could be dangerous over there. And so people, they would click through it and go through. But Substack authors were a little concerned because this is where they get a lot of their subscribers from. There's a symbiotic system here that's breaking. And Elon kind of said, so you want Twitter to be destroyed by Notes? So now Twitter, in response, is creating a program by which you can be paid for your content on Twitter. You can create unique content on Twitter, whether that's long-form video or journalistic articles, and you can get people to subscribe and pay to see your content. In other words, rather than Substack taking Twitter by creating Notes, Twitter's trying to take Substack by creating paid content sponsorships. So it's a really interesting world of free speech issues that we have going on here. But both products are something that I think has a really unique position in the marketplace. We have about 30 seconds here. Beth, welcome to the program. What do you got for me on Compute This today?
Hi, really quick. The ultimate upgrade, I overslept. Will that have Windows 10 or Windows 11?
It comes with Windows 11.
Thank you.
No sweat. Thank you for the call, Beth. We appreciate it. Kathy, you're the winner of the $25 Schrock Innovations gift certificate. So congratulations, Kathy. We'll get that certificate out to you here on Monday. Stay tuned for the After Schrock, facebook.com/Schrock Innovations, where you can join the Schrockville conversation and hear all the things that we don't talk about or didn't get to on the program today. Got quite the stack of things here that we didn't actually get to on the show. And of course, you can come back again next weekend, where we'll have another live edition of Compute This for you, and we'll see you then.
From the Amish Furniture of Nebraska studio, your home for made in the USA furniture. This is News Radio 1110 KFAB Omaha and iHeartRadio.